Hello and welcome to a very old vid. There's no audio in this one at all. I had to delete it because I know the copyright thing. I didn't get a copyright strike, but they muted the track I had on there, and the track removal thing didn't work on it, so I just deleted it. And then I was thinking, it's a nice little vid really to look back on. You know, it's obviously just back in the level 50 days, so it's a good few years ago now. And it's I think this is um, shortly after the first server merges, because as you can see there's Arabelle there. Ended up being in Nostrum Dolus. She was in Lord of the Drinks for a bit. Obviously, you see my guild is Servants of None. There's 8 members online, so that's you know, uh, 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 I think a couple of months after this, or a month after this, kind of the guild basically went under. A bit of a shame, but yeah, these were fun times. You see Agent Smith there for the old ancient Red Eclipsians. Agent Smith, people will know him. Very good operative in his day. Um, yeah, Lithex. He was. He teamed up with Bat Marauder. They were always together. Had a fair few games with him. Yeah, poor energy management. Yeah, the quality of this isn't going to be good because it is so early days in my recording history. But I started recording my vids that I was still playing around with the settings, and I hadn't got it quite right. I think it's actually set to kind of 720. It's not like the 1080 resolution. It's the next one down 720. So if you're watching it full screen, it's not going to be as good. And because I haven't got the original stuff, um, yeah, I'm going to try and make the quality as good as possible, but I don't think it's. I'll try my best. I found this to be quite a fun one. We had some great games as a group. Those were back in the days where you had Lord of the Drinks and Servants of None. They were the two main PvP guilds. Yes, later on you had Nostrum come along. They didn't come along in the first wave, I think, of server merges. They came along a bit later. Reality Check, Beyond Comprehension, Relentless, or something like that. Yeah, that's a good cap, isn't it? It's but yeah, this is back in the Servants of None Lord of Drinks heydays. When they were both still going strong. It was quite often what you would have is when they were doing like 8x8 ranked, group ranked. I was listening to in the guild chat of Servants of None as to what was going on. I remember they had some great games. There was one particular hut ball, which I think any Servants of None, Lord of the Drinks people will remember it. I can't remember all the details for the life of me, but obviously I didn't play it. So, but it's something like I think it was Servants of None. Or no, I think it was Lord of the Drinks. I think, wasn't it? Or it was one of these things where it was so close, and it was drawn, and the team who won ended up winning literally by a split second. It was so close, and the guild chat went absolutely berserk. the Lord of the Drinks guys, because obviously their Imperial alts were in Servants of None, so they came along. I said, fantastic game, can't believe it's so close. Oh. It was fun to listen to. Fun times. I liked Arabelle. It's she was if I remember rightly, yeah. It's when the server merges happened, Bread Eclipse hadn't actually got an elite warlord. Shuri was the first Red Eclipsean to become elite warlord, rank 100, and shortly after him was Naughty XX, followed by I think Spinks, and then Lags. I think that was the order. But Arbel came over during the server merges and already had Elite Warlord. So I guess it's Shuri was the first person who rolled on Bread Eclipse to get that Elite Warlord, but Arbel was the first one you saw on Bread Eclipse. But then that's only because of those server merges. But yeah, it's I'd when I was on my Sentinel, I had a couple of good games with her. She was such a good healer. She managed to keep me up, and I actually managed to do quite well. That was back in the days. I wasn't playing much. That's why. Yeah. After Servants of None went under, Cassis and I basically went over to the website for a good few months, and it's I leveled some other characters, including my Sentinel, um, and I managed to get this. I, I wouldn't call myself good, but I'd managed to get myself to an average state where I was okay on the class. I knew what I was doing. I was gradually getting it, a bit more time, and it's a bit more time, and I could have done a bit better on the Sentinel, but obviously, I went back to Escarli in the end. But yeah, I remember having I know I was still working on my gear, so I wasn't fully geared, but I remember it was still back in the level 50 days, I think. I had it was a silver ball, and I had like 350, 400k damage. Can't remember who won the match, but she did some pretty good healing. It was nice. It's a shame she left Lord of the Drinks in a way, but because she was good, but then she wasn't getting any games, and she went over to Nostrum. I think she did quite well, and I know Agent Smith was quite a character. He was quite a frustrated operative. Um, I remember him saying a couple of times about I didn't really listen to all the nerfs that was going on, but I remember he had a fair bit to say about all the nerfs operatives had. He stayed around for quite some time, and I know he came back briefly. I can't remember how long afterwards, but he came back and joined, created a guild with some friends of his. But then that was. Do you remember when they did that purge on names, character names, and those who weren't subscribed were not given priority over their character names? So because his name was Agent Smith, you know, he came on. He subbed for a month just to make sure he got his Agent Smith name, and that was the last I saw of him. It's a shame, but yeah, it's. I hope the quality of this is kind of watchable. I have a feeling it might not, but I'm going to upload it anyway because it does bring back memories of me as to a really fun time back in the day. Seventh of None was a good guild. I had a lot of Most of my PvP there wasn't back then wasn't solo. Actually, it was a group. There's only when Servants of None Men turned really that I stopped grouping up a lot. You know, really wish they'd come back. I think they've switched games a couple of times since then. Grey Wolf, he was quite good. Business as usual. I think we very rarely lost a game when we grouped up. Yes, you know, we didn't win every single one, but yeah, that was fun. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope the quality is watchable, and see you again.